Hey, someone had asked about mixing for in-ears. I'm done with a gig tonight, but we did have an in-ear setup. There's two stereo transmitters actually set up as two dual mono, so 4 mixes mono. So what kinds of things do you do when you're mixing for in-ears? Now the thing is with in-ears, in a perfect world, you don't have a monitor blaring at you, and you have your singers and hopefully the rest of the band on ears. In a perfect world, you give everybody a tablet, they mix themselves, and everything goes well. But on the sound person end of it, this particular console only talks to one tablet at a time. If you're mixing 4 people on in-ears, say for example singers, we have 4 singers in this band, and their mixes are 9, 10, 11, 12. So what I like to do is, if we have 4 singers, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm going to go to mix 9, which is their first mix. I'll put in, let me go to the right layer. I'll put in a lot of that first singer, the primary. Put the other singers down. And then they may want a little bit of keys, maybe a touch of guitar. If you have some drum overheads, maybe a little bit of kick drum, snare drum. Give it, to fill it out a little bit. To give it ambience, if you can put a little bit of drum overhead in there, but if you got a lot of vocal mics on stage, you're going to get a lot of bleed from those other mics, which is good, gives it a sense of space. So that's, here just to give you an idea, kick, snare, pad, 1, 2, bass, keys, guitar, stereo, and then I put the drums on the second layer here. So it's not really necessary to put a bunch of toms and stuff in most singers. If you're doing a drummer, for example, drummer's going to want to hear a bunch of kicks, some snare, definitely their own pad, a little bit of hat, toms. If there's overheads, I would put that in there a good amount. Throw some vocals in, not too loud, definitely some bass, but a lot of everything, basically, a lot of everything. Instrumentalists tend to want to hear a blend of the rest of the band with their instrument on top. So if you're dealing with a bass player, you'd put a bunch of bass in there and put everybody else lower, kind of a thing. If you're a guitar player, your guitar is going to be loud, and maybe if they have a vocal, it's going to be louder, that kind of a thing. So lots of options, just ask the musicians, ask them what they want. If they say a little bit of everything, that's a lie. You're going to do some, if they want a little bit of everything, that means your kick, snare, some basic instruments, a little bit of vocals, call it good. Don't overthink it. Don't go crazy. Some other things to consider is when you're looking at your output section. Let's go here to mix your outputs, run them flat, don't high pass them. Don't high pass them like you would a wedge. Leave them flat. And the reason for that is the ears will have better low end extension, and there's no reason to cut that all out. You may want to put a compressor on the, you may want to put a compressor or a limiter on the ears if you find that you're peaking out the front end of the transmitter. So what that would mean is, let's get out of this. Let's go back home to here. We'll put some music on one of these. You see that? We're peaking pretty hard there. So let me back it down a little bit so we have I'm not going to play the music because I don't want a copyright strike. So we're putting music through mix 10, which is IEM 2. And you can see how loud it gets. There is a limiter on these things, but you know, who knows what happens when it hits hard, you know, it might crunch. So in that instance, you're gonna wanna put a limiter on this thing. And in that case, you're looking for infinity, and then you're gonna drop this thing down. I don't even know what mix I'm on at this point. Oh, here we are, mix 10. So, yeah, just gonna drop that threshold down. Let's drop that threshold down. You see it? Drop that threshold down so you're just tickling it. You don't want to cut too much, but that's your limit. And what that does is it softens up what's going to the in-ear. And even still, you're going to want to drop it back. Don't use any makeup gain. I'm probably going to quicken up that attack. Quicken up that attack. The release is fine. If you want to be mean, you could do a hard knee. Or you could soften it up a little bit. So, there you go. That's some ideas. Hope that helps.